Hey guys, it's Doesn't Matter,
I love the dream.
and this is the fourth episode of our podcast, Confessions of a Stand Mixer Edition. Today we are going to be going over our dream tour set lists. This was one of the at least I think it was. I think this was one of the questions that you guys asked us when we initially asked you guys what you guys would want us to answer for the first episode. But we couldn't get to it then, and we thought it would make a really good episode on its own. And so that is what we're going to be talking about today. So we decided to make up some rules for this. And we said we could have 18 songs. We could choose two interludes. Obviously, on a real tour, there would be more than two, but we were picking out two. And then we're doing one remix. We broke it down into 5 sections on the tour, plus an encore. So for the opening of my tour set list, I had Power featuring Stormzy, and because it's a dream world, I do actually mean like featuring Stormzy, like him physically being there. And then my remix is Lightning and Madhouse. So I always wondered what those would sound like if they did a remix on tour. So I decided to indulge myself during this podcast opportunity. And then I have Sweet Melody and then Down Dirty and DNA to finish off the first section of the tour. And Down Dirty DNA is the version that the girls already performed on the Glory Days UK leg. I just loved it so much that I want to see it for real. So it would be on my dream tour set list. What about you?
I think Lightning and Madhouse goes really well together. I think that'll be like a really good remix if they ever did do it.
Yeah, I feel like it would be so cool. Hey, any mixers out there who have any talent with remixing songs, if you do this, tag me, like send it to me. I
Yeah,
would like to hear it. That would be super cool.
can you do mine too? I haven't gotten to it yet, but you'll hear it in a second because I want to hear it. I'll give you a specific. I have a note of where I want it to cut. Okay, so mine starts off. This isn't like completely my idea, obviously, because I don't remember which of them was talking about it. I want to say it was Jade, but it could be any one of them. Was talking about the tour starting with gloves up and them in
Jade.
like the boxing ring. Yeah, I think that'll be really cool, and I really hope they do it. So I put it in mind because I really want to see that. And then from there, I want it to go into a mess because since Gloves Up is such like a powerhouse song, I think a mess is like still at a similar level, but it's a little bit lower. And then from there, I want it to be a remix of If You Want My Love with confetti. Because I think, like, after Perry's high note in If You Want My Love, it could go into, like, the chorus of confetti. It could just be me, but I feel like it
Oh,
could work.
If You Want My Love and Confetti being your remix?
Yeah, it,
Okay.
it works in my head. So, like, that's kind of my beginning section. It's like the confetti grouping, I guess.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. Yes, if there's anyone talented who is listening to us talk about this and makes any of these, tag us. Let us know. Send us to them. We will put it on
Yes,
our YouTube if you want us to. Let us know.
yes.
Yeah, okay, so those are interesting. Okay. Yeah, gloves up. I thought about putting gloves up too, like doing it the way Jade talked about it, but then I was like, that's not my dream set list though. I was like, it's just a good idea.
Yeah.
Because gloves up isn't on my dream set list, and so that's why I didn't do it. But if it was on my
Mm.
dream set list, I probably would have stolen the idea to. Um, all right, so then I am using one of my interludes. Do you guys know, or if you don't, I highly suggest pausing right now and going to look it up. On the Glory Days UK leg, the interlude before Salute and like that whole like section of Down and Dirty DNA Freak, da da da. The interlude on the tour screens is reggaeton lento, but it's actually like they use the entire like back wall of the whole like stage to it's obviously like a pre-recorded video, but it's like them running around backstage, like quote unquote, trying to get ready for the next song to get back on stage, like singing and playing reggaeton lento and stuff. And then it like the video ends like with like you from backstage watching the dancers march up the stairs to the stage, and then you see the dancers actually come up on the stage at the same time. It's a really cool setup that I always really liked. So I wanted to steal that like concept of that type of an interlude, but I wanted to do it with Move, so that's what I'm gonna say for that. That's one of my interludes. And then I have 3 songs up in the next section, and that would be Grown Wasabi and Rendezvous. I feel like they're all very sassy, and they have, like, a similar vibe to them that they would kind of all blend well, and the choreography would, like, kind of look cool. They're not remixes, they're, like, just 3 songs, but I don't know, I just thought that it would be, like, a cool pairing up for a section.
Those would, like, work really well together. I never
Right?
thought
It's
about
not just
that.
me, right?
No, yeah, they would. So, I don't have an interlude for this one. I just go straight into the other 3, and I have Power featuring Stormzy in person, live,
Guys, it's a
because
dream. We get to have it. It's
yeah,
whatever we want.
it has to happen, like, in my dream set list, like, it has to be there. And then I have No More Sad Songs because I love that song, so it's going in. And then I have Down and Dirty because that one's just a bop. So this is like I didn't do this intentionally. Well, I kind of did, but like not at the beginning, but this is like the glory days section now, I guess. I didn't mean to group them by album, but that's just how they turned out. So, yeah.
You kind of naturally wanna group them by album
Yeah.
because they feel like they go together well because they're on the same album.
Yeah, it like just has a similar feel. I think that's I have one more that I kind of do something similar, but those are like the two words just from one album on each.
I did my ballad section next. So after Rendezvous, they go off stage. I did not do a interlude for this. Obviously on tour there would be, but I did not pick one for this. And then they're gonna come back on and they're going to sing Nobody Like You and then Good Enough and then Love Me or Leave Me so that we can all be heartbroken and so that they can have no voices for the rest of the show.
I felt that. Um, so I did an interlude here. I did one with Touch, even though I know that there's not really one out there, but like I'm kind of basing it off of the ones from LM5, something similar to like the Forget You Not one and all that in Strip because I feel like they could do it. I'm not sure how, but it could work. And I wanted to include Touch, so I kind of stuck it in there. And then my next section, okay, so right off the bat, they're going to sound a little weird, but it'll grow on you, I promise. This is like the whole vibey section. Like they all have a very similar feel, even though they're completely different at the same time. So it goes into Rendezvous to start off with like the highest energy out of the three, and then it kind of goes down to the next song, which is Lightning, and then from Lightning to Monster in Me. Because I feel like they're very random ones to be grouped together, but to me they feel like very similar.
I mean, out of all 3 of them, like, Monster and Me is the one that feels a little bit weirder, but, like, I still think, there's a way in which they all work. I can see it.
Yeah. So, and I just really wanted to I just really wanted to include Monster in Me and I didn't know where else to put it, so I stuck it in there.
I mean, you know what? You we haven't gotten through my list yet, but I did the same thing, so it's fine for getting there.
Yeah.
And then coming out of the ballad section, getting a little bit back up tempo, I wanted to use either like this one, it could be this exact one, or just something similar to this. The on the LM5 tour, the Standing Together Forever as Sisters like interlude, I think was really neat and one of the best ones on the LM5 tour. And so I would like to either use that one or something like similar. And then that would lead me into my next section, which would start with Shout Out to My Ex. You know what? We made everyone cry. We're gonna come back out, make everyone feel a little bit better, a little bit sassier, a little bit louder. And then No More Sad Songs, the original version, which will not be a remix from the LM5 tour, but will include the original bridge that I want to hear live. And then we'll have confetti and happiness. And I kind of imagine this section being like still having choreography, but just being a little like and still being upbeat, but just being a little bit like more interactive with the crowd, a little bit more unchoreographed, and just like, you know, kind of like interactive and fun and all of that. That's kind of my reasoning for that section is I just think like those are a lot of songs that are about kind of moving on to a better place and which after all the ballads, you know, the audience could probably need. So,
It's uplifting.
yeah, that's my 4th section.
So I have an interlude here, and it's the same thing as the touch one that I had earlier, but instead of touch, I have notice. Um, I don't know. I feel like that could make a pretty good interlude.
I think it could too.
And then, oh, scratch that. I was looking at the wrong section.
Ooh.
I skipped my whole ballad section. Okay, cut. Basically, I have good enough starting off my ballads to kind of get you in the mood, and then it goes into Nobody Like You. So it's like it's hard to put Nobody Like You in there because it has like a beat that the other ones don't have.
Mm.
So I feel like it'll work okay in there. And then from there, Love Me or Leave Me. And then to kind of finish off the whole ballad section, I have Woman's World.
I promise we didn't plan it, guys. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good like gut punch to all of them. And then good enough not to be like you live in the world. Yeah, that will do it. That will get everyone crying.
Yeah. And they'll have no voices
Yeah,
like
yeah,
halfway through
we're
the
really
concert.
we're really trying to make it. This is like this is like one and done concert.
Yeah.
All right, and then my next section. So we're coming off of like confetti and happiness. I wanted to get like a section that had the vibe of like what FU did on the Glory Days tour, where they like just kind of took it down a little bit, sat down, but it's not necessarily like a ballad. And so I wanted to kind of have like that section. Um, and for that, I have Monster and Me, Notice, and FU. You could, put them into some ballads or choreograph some stuff to them. Like you could remix them up a bit to fit into a different section. But I think that would be really cool to have like a sit down section at the concert where it's more about like storytelling and vocals and not necessarily like a super heartfelt sad ballads, but just like something just a little bit calmer and stuff. I feel like Little Mix doesn't really get to do that too often because they like to put on such a show. But I think it'd be cool to see those songs in that setting.
I want to see that.
Right? Like, wouldn't that be cool? Like, just, like, a little, like, sit down calm section,
Yeah.
like a mini Apple Music in the middle of the concert, you know?
Yeah, that would have me swaying with like my flashlight. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds nice. So this is where I have the Notice interlude that's similar to Touch. Because I feel like, because since my last song was Woman's World, I feel like Notice kind of, since it's from the same album, has a similar feel. So I feel like it'll kind of like bring it down into the next section. I don't know. That was
Mm.
my thought process. Um, and then this section is kind of where I go back into the album classified, I guess, because it goes into Change Your Life, because that is one song that I've always wanted to see live. Um, and then from there, I have it going into the How You Doing a cappella version because, of course. And then this is kind of where it switches up because I have Move, so it kind of goes off of the DNA album. Um, but it also brings the energy back up. And then for Move, I have it going into Wings.
Moving on to our encores, I have one encore. So after they leave, after a few, right, we've had, like, a little fun sit-down time with them, we did all the dancing, they were sassy, they've said goodnight, they left, they come back on, and then we get the full version of Freak.
Yes.
Guys, I'm telling you, this is the way to end the concert.
Yes. Okay. So I have two songs in the encore. Um, the first one is Sweet Melody because I feel like that's a very
That's a good
um
one.
like I don't know, it just kind of makes you want to get up and dance, so it leaves you off on like a good note. And then this is not going to be a surprise, but I have All the Freak too to end it off.
I mean, if you guys listen to uh, our favorite things episode, then you know that we're suckers for Freak.
It's just so good. I need the whole thing.
Like, come on now. Like,
Like imagine ending the concert with Freak. Like
no, like, I just it would be, like, so magical. I could just imagine, like, that like, the stage production, the choreography, the
yeah.
vocals, like, that's just the way to do it, you
And like
know?
afterwards with like the sound like radiating, it's like like oh,
Yeah. Guys, that's it. That's how you do it.
it'd be so good.
So, that is our playlist section there. We did want to do like an honorable mention section because putting together these like set lists was actually really hard because you want things you can't have or that don't fit. So my honorable mentions would be competition, how you doing, salute, change your life, and strip. Those were all ones that I like really, really wanted to include, but couldn't bring it in myself to like swap with anything that I already had. But I really wanted them in there. So maybe I would make the standing together section like maybe I would change it to like a change your life like interlude. Not change the section, but change like the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I would do that. I don't know. But anyway, those were my honorable mentions were like if I could have found a way to put them on them and if we hadn't set ourselves at an 18 song limit, I would have they would have been there.
Yeah, mine's similar because these are all songs that like just didn't fit or I felt like that they did a lot, so I wanted to kind of switch it up even though I ended up doing other songs that they did, but just not as recent. So I have Woman Like Me with Nicki Minaj live because that would be great on tour. Is all I'm saying. Shout out to my ex, Stand Down, Make You Believe, Boy, Word Up, FU, and Reggaeton Lento. I just I wish I could have included them. I'll just put an interlude for all of them, honestly.
I mean, yeah, we only included two interludes, but like in reality, we should have had what one, um, 1, 2, 3, 4, like four. There should have been four. So
Yeah.
technically, I could have four of my five. Well, no, no, hang on, I already did two. I could have two of my five.
I have 7. It's not gonna work. It's fine. Just a really long encore.
Yeah. Um, it's definitely like it's a hard thing to do to put together the set list, guys.
It's really hard.
Yeah, because at first, like, I think we approached it differently, and so, like, the first thing I did
Mhm.
was I, like, listed out all the songs I wanted, and then I had to, like, try to match them up in a way I thought would work, and then, once I had that, I was realizing, like, "Oh, there's a bunch left that I wanted that aren't making the cut."
Yeah, I just kind of just put the numbers, so I sorted the categories first. So I was just like, okay, the first section's gonna have 3, the second one's gonna have 3, this one's gonna have 4, and then like 2 encore. But I didn't know which songs I was gonna put there, and then I kind of just put the songs I wanted the most, and then I kind of filled in the gaps from there. And I was like, okay, this song works with this, even though it wasn't my first choice. It works better than what my first choice was.
It was also hard to, like, figure out how to make the songs match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we even talked about it before we actually started recording, guys, and we were like, "I don't know that my songs go together." Like, and because it's weird to think about it, like, making them match, especially when we're not actually making the versions that would go on tour that would make them match. So I was over here like, "Lightning Madhouse remix into Sweet Melody." It's like, maybe you could turn, like, the "doo doo doo" into, like, something a little bit creepier coming out of Madhouse, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, yeah, so it's interesting trying to, like, match them up yourself to figure it out, but it was a really fun, like, little prompt to do, and we've gotten requested to do some other different tour list, like, scenarios that we'll maybe get to in the future.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
There was one of yours that I really liked. There was something in your set list I really liked, and I'm forgetting what it was.
Oh,
Oh, wait, you said, you said you wanted to Rendezvous and then Lightning, right?
yeah.
There's something about that to me that feels like that could work really well in a really weird way.
Right? It's not just me. Okay.
No, like there's something about like you first said it to me and I was like, "Oh." And then I was like it like sat with me for like 10 seconds and I was like, "Hmm."
Yeah, cause like, Lightning was, like, the first one I thought of. I was like, "Okay, I know I've always said I wanted to see Lightning live," so I put Lightning in there, and I was like, "Okay, what songs sound like Lightning?" And Rendezvous, like, came into my head, and I was like, "Hmm."
Like I was like that's such an interesting pairing. Like I feel like that would be so neat.
Yeah. I wanna see it. Cause it's weird, but it works. Originally, instead of Monster and Me, I had noticed there, but then I remembered Monster and Me, and I swapped them out. So,
Mm,
the other one goes better, but I wanna see Monster and Me, so I kinda sacrificed it.
I feel you. I feel you. Do you want it to go through and have us do a tally of like where our all our songs came from, like era-wise, album-wise?
Oh, yeah, sure.
One moment, guys, as we do math. All right, guys, we have done the math, which is 98% correct. And, and so, all right, my breakdown is I have 2 songs from the DNA era, 2 from the Salute era, 3 from Get Weird, 4 from Glory Days, 3 from LM5, and 4 from Confetti.
Okay, my math is a little whack, so don't come for me. But there's something off, and I just don't know what it is. I have 3 DNA, 2 Salute, 2 Get Weird, 6 Glory Days, 3 LM5, and 6 Confetti. So I did not evenly.
It's funny that like I think we all complained about the girls leaning so heavily Glory Days on the LM5 tour, but like we did the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize I
Uh,
did that.
I mean, I kind of knew I did that, but I didn't realize I did it that much.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, there's something special about that album in that era.
there really is.
Um,
Luna, shush. I'm busy.
okay, guys, this might end up making it into the podcast. Normally, I edit this out, but we have been having quite the day with our cats. And they have been climbing all over us, stepping on things, meowing, like climbing on top of us, on our computers, on our microphones.
It's a whole mess.
They're psychologically ganging up on they're psychologically ganging up on on us, but with each other. Um, so we normally I edit out these issues, but they've been so prevalent today. You guys might be meeting our cats.
Yeah.
So, in case you guys didn't know, we have cats, and they are would always like to be part of the podcast.
100%.
um, I would get my cat to meow for you so that you could hear both of ours. However,
No.
mine, for the first time in I don't know how many minutes, is pretending to sleep in front of me and not bothering me. So I'm
Oh,
not
wow.
screwing that up.
Okay. God, they both just came in here and just stared at me. That was so scary. Closing my door back over.
um, okay, something else I wanted to address because I know that there are so many people who are going to be like, where was Salute? Where was Wings? Where was Black Magic? Where was Secret Love Song? And the answer is that, at least for me, A, we get the songs a lot. They're like the default songs on every tour set list ever. So I don't, because they're not my favorite songs, they're not on my dream tour set list because I've seen them a lot. And then the other side of that is some of those songs I would include on like a different concept tour set list, that I like kind of felt pressure to include on this one for reasons that like didn't really make sense. So I was like, no, I'm gonna stick to the concept we have, which is that like if I was going to their concert, what is the dream set list I would want to see? And so that's where this came from. Under a different concept, like those songs would probably end up, or some of them would end up on a set list. So anyway, that's my reasoning for why some of the classics are not on there.
Yeah. I just kind of wanted something a little different than like what we normally get. So that's why I didn't include like Salute, Black Magic, Secret Love Song, just because we see those so much. And for me, I've seen those songs live, so I want songs that, even though might have been really popular at the time, like to be put on the set list, I never got to see them. So that's kind of why I prioritize some of the other ones over some of the more popular ones now.
If you guys have any other like tour set list concepts that you guys can think of, leave it below in the comments because we would love to do more of these. I'm thinking of one right now. Maybe tell me I guess if you guys would be interested in it. If maybe we tried base a set list on like LGBT inclusive, like maybe like a even like a not a theme, but, like, if they were doing, like, a pride event or something, you know what I mean, and they had, like, a shorter set list or something, like, maybe that would be an interesting set list concept, 'cause I'm thinking about, like, that's your opportunity to include the songs from a different perspective that don't have pronouns in them or that switch between pronouns or that you know what I mean? I don't know, like, there's some potential for, like, something like "Shout Out to My Ex," like, if you were doing it under that concept, you could do a remix of "Shout Out to My Ex" that was more inclusive,
I think it'd be fun.
right? Like, I feel like that's, like, if they had, like, a six-song set list or something at, like, a pride event,
Yeah.
like, what would it be? Like, how would they change it? I think that's a cool concept. Anyway, but if you guys have anything like that, leave it in the comments below. Any other types of concepts for set lists that you think would be interesting for us to do, we wanna hear about them because we might do them. If anyone, honestly, if you do our remixes, please get them to us somehow. Like, we want to hear them. Even if, like,
Yes.
you're not, like, the best at it or whatever when you, like, gave it your shot, still send it to us.
I'm really curious. Please.
Just spam our video comments, like, find us on, like, socials, like, just something. Alright, guys, that is our dream tour set lists. Definitely leave in the comments, what yours is, and if you agree or disagree with any of ours. Of course, do it with respect to us and to each other. We'll see you guys next week with another episode, and we just want to say thank you to everyone who's been listening to all the other episodes and leaving comments and everything. We really appreciate you. And we do read all the comments. And it's so nice to see so many of you enjoying the podcast. We weren't really sure, if anyone would like it or want to listen to it when we first started. And so to see all your support is lovely. And we really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week.